Hey folks, Nick here from another BookTube channel. Today, looking at a random underground comic. I just picked this up yesterday, actually. I read it and I really liked it, and I wanted to show it to you guys. This is Death Rattle number 6. This is the second volume of Death Rattle. And specifically, I wanted to show you guys the Stephen Bissette story in here called Roadkills. Hopefully you've been keeping up with my Swamp Thing read-along, which has been a lot of fun, and you've been seeing some great Stephen Bissette artwork in there. And he's got a story in here, and I wanted to show you guys what he does outside of the mainstream comic system. He already does some, boundary-pushing stuff in Swamp Thing, but this is him really outside of that big two system, just doing underground outlaw comics. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look. First of all, this cover is by Bissette, and it is a nasty piece of work that gives you an idea of what to expect on the interior of a terrifying, terrible car crash, and this vulture eating this guy's eyeball. I wonder if Bissette is also doing the colors on this cover. It doesn't say on the inside if he does the colors or not. They just credit the cover to him. But the color of this, every color on this cover is perfectly chosen, because it is all just perfect contrast. First, the yellow of the road lines, which, that's the color of road lines. You expect that. But it's the only real yellow on the cover. And because of the directionality of it, it drives your eyes to the focal point of this guy with a smashed up face, and this blood splatter on the ground, and like the purple black of the blacktop. He himself, he's got kind of a orange-ish outfit, and behind him it's offset by the blue of the fender, which is offset by the red of the car, the deep purple blue of the vulture. It's just continuously offsetting colors. Even in the window here, where the car crash is, you've got the blue of the front windshield, and then behind that you've got the purple of the interior, and then the back window is once again the blue to create those levels of depth. Excellent coloring on this cover. I think I just talked for 2 minutes about the cover alone. Let's open it up and we'll look at the actual story. There are 3 stories in this. Death Rattle is an anthology series, but we're just going to focus on the Stephen Bissette story. Story by Tom Veitch, doing the writing, with Bissette on the artwork. Tom Veitch is Rick Veitch's brother. He also passed away somewhat recently, so rest in peace to him. But we open up with a rabbit crossing the road to negative results. It doesn't go well for the rabbit. And I'll read out Tom Veitch's narration, because I think it's pretty good. The great sun dies every day. We watch, our eyes aching, unable to turn away. Our home is the high country above the great water, where the black road winds among salt-swept pine into the mountains of night's silence. The road, an ugliness laid upon our world by an alien mind, a thing we don't want to understand. The road has been good to us. And then immediately after that, the rabbit trying to cross the road is brutally run over by a passing truck. Like the sun returning to the ocean, some of us go to the road to die. And we get the truck not stopping, just driving along, as the bunny, unfortunately, meets his end. You get the title, Roadkills. I love the tire tracks over the lettering. I wonder if I got probably all just Bissette doing the lettering as well here. So that's pretty cool. And we get more of it, because now that bunny is dead, the scavengers come out. So keeping up that narration, others go to the road to feed. The crows, with their sharp eyes, are usually first. But the ringtails, when they are hungry, are never far from the road. Eat quickly, old ringtail. Coyote has sniffed fresh blood. And who among the little folk will stand fast against the lords of the dead? Yes, who? And so we're just seeing this kind of food chain expertly drawn by Bissette. He is great at wildlife, as we've seen in Swamp Thing. So we've got crows that come first. We've got raccoons, fuzzy little guys. Let me see. I just want you to appreciate this great animal drawing. We get a coyote. We get vultures, who are nasty and mean looking. And then who stands up to the vultures? A man who's holding some kind of a bat or bludgeoning device. He shoos away the vultures because this roadkill is his. This is a man who's living off the grid, and he's going to take this rabbit home, and he's going to make himself a stew. Throw that rabbit in the pot, cook yourself a stew. Get some nasty imagery of him gutting the rabbit to bring it home, to dress it so that it's ready to be eaten. Puts it in his pack and walks home into the woods, where he returns to his family. And his kids are really happy to see him. They sit down for a nice meal, and his son wants to go out with him at night to hunt, for their next round of food. And he says, not yet, maybe another year. It's dangerous out there at night. And he talks about there's animals on the prowl. There's mountain lions out there and grizzlies on the prowl and things. I don't know what they call them, but I've seen them on the road. And he looks over at this weird skull that we also see back here with really weird fangs that doesn't look human, doesn't look animal. Don't really know what it is. Stephen Bissette's using a lot of zipatone or screen tone that we could see it up here on the roof. We see it in the skull, and he uses it to really good effect on these next few pages, because we get these two dudes who are driving around in this nasty truck looking for animals specifically to run over. It's how they get their kicks. They're just waiting for animals to come out to the middle of the road to run them over. And the way he's using this screen tone is he's using it as a way to emphasize or depict the residual lighting from the headlights, because the headlights create extreme bright whiteness coming out of the front of them, but all around them it's illuminating the rest of the scene. But because it's not direct lighting, you can't have it be the same level of white as your headlights. So instead, he uses the screen tone. And I'll try to get a close-up so you can see what I mean. But you can see it on the truck heavily, where it's just all these little dots, the dot screen. You see it there as well, on the tires, all on the side of the truck. And it's a really smart way to diffuse light without creating intense shadow, because everything else in the night is shadowed. You got their face in shadow inside the car more so, but that residual light is a really smart way to depict that. So these guys, they're on the hunt. They find a raccoon who unfortunately enters into their crosshairs, the center of their light beam. He really stands out, and they quickly run him right over. It's very, very sickening depiction. The undercarriage of this car drawn really well. I mean, who knows if he's using reference there or if he's just making it up as he goes, but very believable undercarriage of a car there. I really like the way that looks. Looks heavy, looks very powerful, looks dangerous to the small animals. In here, we get kind of a back view of that truck. So since we don't really see the light source here, we're not getting that screen tone. We're only getting like silhouette, but we're getting a reverse silhouette where we're kind of seeing the white outlines of things rather than a black outline, which really looks really cool, creates a really good its own illumination effect. They're going after more animals. They get a coyote that they run over, real nasty, right over his neck. And as they're hooting and hollering, I mean, we've set up that, the man we saw earlier, he's going out at night to hunt for roadkill. So he's going to be on these roads. These guys are out looking to kill. And of course, they run into him. And now he's at the center of their lights, and they plow right through him. get some nasty blood splatter. It looks like maybe ink on the toothbrush to kind of get that splatter down on the page. And this is also a breaking down of the regular panel layout, because everything's been really straight for the most part. Over here we had some circle panes, circle panels, but this once he gets hit, the truck is skidding to a harsh stop. So this kind of depicts their kind of like stopping and turning to try to like see what's going on, or like what they just hit. But yeah, they just see they've run over a man. He's still twitching. And they just say, he's one of them now. He's roadkill. Let's get out of here before his friends spot us. And they drive off thinking that they're going to get away with manslaughter, basically. But as they're driving along, the woods start to get real creepy, they say. Get a sheer drop off here. And as they're driving further along this road, it's getting darker, and they're starting to see weird creatures. Like, this is not a normal animal that they see on the side of the road here. And they keep going in, and things start to look downright prehistoric and Lovecraftian. I mean, very strange creatures. And they start to get really nervous, and their lights, as they're driving down, they start to see another huge hulking form in front of them. It's kind of the reverse of this shot here, but now the thing they're aiming at is a lot bigger than this guy, and it is this enormous, monstrous arm reaches out, knocks the car over. This panel did confuse me a little bit, because there's two cars depicted here, and I think that it's meant to be one car that is like, it's showing the action where it's like it's started here and then it's being pushed this way, or maybe it starts here and being pushed this way. A little confusing, but really good effect anyway of just the monster reaching the arm out, knocking them off the road. And this big, I don't even know what to call him. It's not really a Bigfoot. It's just a enormous creature reaches into their car, picks them up by their ankles, because they are now dinner for this beast. They are the roadkill for him, so they get their comeuppance for what they did. And that's the full story. Roadkills by Tom Veitch and Stephen Bissette. I just wanted to show you guys that. I want to do more stuff like this, where it's just little highlights of little stories that you've probably never seen before, because this has never been reprinted. You're never going to see Death Rattle again. You could probably find this book in a comic shop's, maybe not a dollar bin, but you could find it pretty cheap. I got this for $3. So if you're ever at a convention or a show, definitely look around for some Death Rattles. I've got a handful of these issues that are really good. The rest of the issue is really nice too. Got a cool Rand Holmes story in here. Rand Holmes, very good artist. I've never, I'm not overly familiar with his work, but really impressive, like kind of cartoonish figures, very Bollywood-esque kind of double lighting, especially like, sexy women. He seems to like, although this one is not so much. This is a messed up story, by the way, where this demented babysitter kills this baby. So not for the faint of heart, but really good story. And the last story in here is by an artist named Jaxon, right? Yeah, Jaxon, who I'm not familiar with at all, but very noodly, scratchy ink work, like almost Robert Crumish, just in the amount of just little detail with the ink pen. It looks really good, honestly. I mean, it definitely makes me want to see more of this Jackson's artwork. I'll have to look into them and see, like, look at this creature. It's really neat. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Stephen Bissette today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you would like to see more stuff like this on the channel, things that you've probably most people haven't heard of and you just want to get exposure to. I really like this stuff. I like this type of stuff, and I personally want to do some more of this. So I hope you dig it. I'll try to come up with some other cool stuff for future videos. Let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular you want to see. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.